It's time, Steve. It's time. We're back. March Madness, Christmas Eve last night. We did the show, bracket show a couple nights ago. You were in Vegas last weekend for the conference tournaments, as always. And now we got two full 16-game slates, two of us to break it down. Hopefully we do it quicker than the bracket show the other day that we went 2.5 hours. But, Steve, I know you're ready. I'm ready somewhat, so I definitely know you're ready. What's going on, my man?
Yeah, cutting Gav off the show will save us at least an hour. You know, he had his 14 pages of notes for all the games.
Does he seriously scan through his notes when he's doing it?
Yeah, I think so. Just to make sure that they doesn't miss any, shot quality metric or anything like that. But yeah, no, this is always a great 2 days. It's always a grind this week with the content, but I'm happy to do it. And the members are gonna have a good week. We got the Bracket Mania starting today, so good luck to everyone in that. That'll be fun. But yeah, these first 2 days are a grind just with all of the games. But I think the biggest picture thing for today, and we were talking about it before we went live, is the pricing is a bit different than we've seen in past years with these, with the higher seeds. Like the 13 through 16 seeds, usually they're driven by like a big stud that's underpriced on these early slates. We don't really have a lot of that here, at least today. I haven't looked yet at tomorrow, but that kind of changes the context of the slate a bit. You're not having to jam 5 guys from 15 seeds in your lineup just because they project for 6x. So it's a different type of slate. I actually like it more because we know more of the players that we're putting into lineups.
Yeah, and just from the past, like I know usually when I pull up day one of the tournament, as everyone knows, I don't play a ton during the regular season till postseason. Usually you see a few mispriced guys when you go into SaberSim or on the projections page that Steve's sharing, and you sort by point per dollar. Usually there's at least a couple that are like 6, 7x even on the first day, where it's like some dude from Yale is 4K going against some powerhouse, and you got to play him for his 40 minutes. But I think the highest I saw today is less than 5, right, Steve? I mean, which is crazy for day one.
Yeah, this is the tightest pricing we've had for day one, which is good for those of us who have been paying attention. So I feel pretty confident going into today about like a main build, but it also gives us some pretty good opportunities for some good tournament plays, especially up top, because I think ownership is going to condense because we don't have that much value under 5K as well. So it's a unique first day slate. But yeah, I'm pumped to get into it. We did the bracket show that I thought was super fun on, I don't even know what night that was, Tuesday. And yeah, just ready to get into it.
Yeah, so we'll go through each game. Like I said, 16 games. Some games will have more plays than others. And we'll talk about some bets too as they pop up. I'll just go through it. So the first game, Creighton, Louisville. I'll even give the difference in numbers too. It looks like you can get 2.5 Louisville some places and 3 all the way up to 3.5 other places. So it's a decent spot to price shop a little bit for the bet side, depending on which side you like. I mean, that's a massive yeah, exactly too. If you want to sign up for Run Pure, definitely use code Steve15, 15% off. And like I said on the bracket show, it's only $70 for the whole month. You get 15% off that. I think we came to the conclusion $59.50 for the whole month, which is just freaking stealing. So definitely do that, because Steve, Gav, these guys, you got all JBCs. Bryce won another $250 last night.
All that.
And these guys are freaking firing. So definitely take advantage of that. Steve, we got 2.5 to 3.5. Decent game out of the gate. So what's going on with this?
Yeah, one of the better games of the day we get as the standalone noon tip. We talked about on the bracket show. Creighton plays like a heavy drop coverage with the best drop coverage big in the sport, Kalkbrenner's last year here. Louisville doesn't play a ton of drop coverage in the ACC, but they did just play the 4 drop heaviest teams in the ACC. Rain Smith is expected back here for Louisville. You can see that in the projections. Tony, he's like a 3-point gunner on their team. So having him against drop coverage is going to be important. we're pretty conservative on his minutes. I could see him playing 30 plus here, but the DFS plays in this game, Kalkbrenner's going to have a big game because ACC Defensive Player of the Year, Chucky Hepburn, is going to be on Ashworth. So it's going to be tough on Ashworth to have a big game, I think. But, both these teams really condensed minutes, as you see. 6 guys projected for 35 plus. Makes for good tournament plays up top. We have decent pace here. My favorite play in the game is Kalkbrenner. And then the big thing down low is under 5K. Like I said earlier, we don't have a ton of plays. Jason Green doesn't have great rates, but he is in play depending on how many lineups you're going to put in under 5K. Jemiah Neal didn't really have a good Big East tournament, but we've seen him up above 8K for a bit this year. I think he's a decent play at 7,500. So not a ton in this game that I love. I actually docked James Scott's projection manually because he's going to have Kalkbrenner on him, and he's not really going to be able to score at the rim. And James Scott is a rim-reliant big man. So for me in this game, it's probably Kalkbrenner, Jemiah Neal, and maybe some Jason Green.
It's like you said, too, with the studs. I mean, you got a guy 9,700 projected for somewhere around 40. And just to me, it seems really tough to get to that with with the lack of value. But like you said, that's how you can get there different. When he goes for a 60 piece right out of the gate, your whole day is set up nicely. And with this many games, you can pivot all day long. But man, the pricing looks tough to me down low. Just looking at some of the numbers, like the 3-point guy you were talking about, I mean, just too expensive. Like in the past, I feel like that dude would be like 4,200 in the past, where you can play him or something. But 5,600, I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, they actually made it really tough for casuals to make lineups because guys who are usually low to mid 4s are low to mid 5s. So I think the guys up top are going to be under-owned because of it. It's an interesting slate for sure. Kalkbrenner's a good play. This is the cheapest we've seen him in a while, Tony. He's been mid 10s, 11K, just because he does have that upside of a 5-6 block game where he goes for over 50 DK.
And so for Louisville, the guy that crushed in the tournament was Hepburn, right? Like he looked good to me in the tournament. Who was the other guy that crushed? Edwards?
Yeah, Hepburn and Edwards are the 2 studs, 2 transfers from Wisconsin and JMU. They're like max minute. Hepburn, I think Hepburn is definitely my preferred guy of the 2 if you're going there. It's just tough for me to click on Chucky Hepburn because of the upside of some of the other studs in the 9K range that we'll get to, including Kalk there at that same price. So not a ton of interest on the Louisville side for me for DFS, even though I do think that they win this game.
So for the new people that haven't played a ton of college watching this, in the past it was always like 4x you want off your salary, right? So is that right? First of all, 4, like in the past, somewhere around 4x.
Yeah, I mean, on a slate this big, you're going to need more than 4x probably. But
to win overall, you're going to have to, and there's going to be upside all over. I mean, there's 16 games, so you're going to see people spout out. But just in general, when you're trying to like look at it, if my guy's 5K, I want to see a projection somewhere around 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for the new people, I'm trying to remember. And like the studs, obviously you can go a little lower. Like if a dude's 9,700, you don't need to see some crazy projection up top.
Yeah, and one big thing that we have here in our projections is this upside column that Captain does, and you kind of see it here, like the difference between Edwards at 9.2 and Kalkbrenner at 9.7. You're just allowing yourself for more upside with a player of Kalkbrenner's type, who can add 6 blocks to his normal stats.
Yeah, love it. Let's move on to second game. Right away, we get your boy that Gavin said is going to drop 38 and 18 or something today for Purdue. Purdue minus 7.5. Again, we got some chances. 7.5 some places, up to 8.5 I see on the board. So you got another 1 point difference, and the total is 154. So I assume this game has to have a little interest, but Purdue and High Point, what do we got?
Yeah, we talked about it on the bracket show. High Point soft drop coverage now faces the best drop coverage point guard in the country in Braden Smith. High Point has been a metrics darling, but they played one Power 5 team in 2 years. I laid the 7.5 with Purdue. I like Purdue here in the game. They're my survivor pick for today. But for DFS, they've been tough all year because they basically play a two-man game the entire game. It's Braden Smith, Kaufman-Wren, pick and rolls. And I think that they're just both going to crush here. Braden Smith is going to play all 40 minutes if this game stays, within 15 or 20. And he's got multiple games this year of like 55 plus DK, double-double, triple-double upside. He's got 30 real point upside in this game. So you can see here, his upside we have is higher than Kalkbrenner. So there's just a lot of safety in him. The ball is going to be in his hands the entire game. Purdue's live to score like 90 points on High Point here. So you just get access to so many possessions where you know that he's going to have the ball in his hands for every one of them. So I think Braden Smith's a great play. I think he's a top 2 spend on the slate. Like if I had to rank like the 9K plus guys, I think he's up there with JT Toppin as the 2 best spends on the slate. I think Kaufman-Wren is interesting if you can't get to Smith. Kaufman-Wren's had a great season. He's got like 5 straight games of 20 plus real points. And like the only games that he doesn't crush is when he gets in foul trouble. So I really like the studs on Purdue. This game should see a ton of points. I could see it going over as well. So really like the 2 Purdue studs. Lawyer projects well at 5K. You can kind of see here the 4.4x at 5K is going to be interesting. I worry about his ceiling a bit, and I think he's going to be pretty popular. It's a name that people recognize. It's a high total. I think he's a good play. I just think that he's going to be pretty popular. And that 5K range, like that area right around 5K, has a ton of plays that we'll talk about. So for me, it's Braden Smith as a priority here, Kaufman-Wren as a tournament play, and then Lawyer is kind of like a high floor guy at 5K without much ceiling. The High Point team, as you can see in our minutes column, they run a deep bench. So they've got no one projected over 26 minutes here, which on a 16-game slate, Tony, kind of hard for me to get to them, even in the good game environment. We've got 32 teams here, and you're playing a 6K guy that could play like 24 minutes. Just kind of tough for me to get to any High Point.
Yeah, because I like High Point. I think High Point plays them good. It's impossible. Like there's too many teams. It's not like other sports. Well, NBA, you would need minutes too, but you just have to take the minutes. And you're going to be able to play a team where all your guys are mid to high 30s minutes.
Yeah.
Unless the guys just got insane upside. Like I remember the one dude from Purdue not too long ago that would always play 20-something minutes and just go absolutely nuclear. But that's not the case with this High Point team. And I agree with you. I mean, I got to play Braden after Gav's line. I made fun of him. He promised a 38-18 game. There's no way I'm not playing a 38-18 game from a dude playing 40 minutes. So he's going to be my top stud for sure. Gav, we ride together, baby. Wherever you're at right now, we ride.
Best part is that we can just, make fun of him if he sucks.
Yeah, well, it's win-win. If he's right, I do good. If he's wrong, we make
48, or we just harass him on Saturday.
Correct. So next game, Montana, Wisconsin. We got another big total, 153, 152.5. And we got Wisconsin, big favorite, 16.5. Somehow I watched this Montana team last week. I know they don't play any defense. So this has to be another somewhat interesting game fantasy-wise as I'm diving into the numbers. But what do you got?
Yeah, Montana, like you said, really poor defense. They're led by their 6-man, Money Williams. Really easy path to get through here for Wisconsin. I think this is kind of a name your score game for Wisconsin. I bet their team total over. I think it makes their studs really interesting in tournaments. John Tanji and John Blackwell are their engines here. They're not going to project great because of the price tags, but the upside is big. Like, you see Tanji's upside of almost 50 at 8,500. I think these guys are really interesting in tournaments, especially the lotto and like the $44 tournament. I really like the Wisconsin studs. I have that, we have like a core play sheet on our site. I've got the Wisconsin studs up there as favorites for GPP plays here. So really like them. The main play on Wisconsin for like, cash in a main lineup is Stephen Crow, who I'm sure you recognize that name, Tony. He's been there forever. This is last year. He's been in the mid 6Ks all year. So on a slate where we're talking about guys being priced up, we're getting like a 1K discount on Crow here, and that shows in the projections. He isn't the biggest upside guy on a game-to-game basis, but against a team like Montana, he is going to have the size advantage. He should be able to do whatever he wants inside. He isn't a super high usage guy, but he doesn't really need that here. Like, I could see him doing well on rebounds, putbacks, getting fouled at the rim, stuff like that. So I really like Crow. He's like a main lineup staple for me. So here it's all Wisconsin. I think you could play Money Williams or Joe Pridgeon on the Montana side if you wanted. But man, like, it's just going to be really tough. This is a different Wisconsin team too, Tony. Like, they're playing super fast because they have the two athletes in Tanji and Blackwell. It's not a bunch of stiffs out there. They got two guys who want to get out and run in transition. So more of a pace Wisconsin team than we've seen, which is what's raised their ceiling, honestly.
Yeah, and this Monty Williams dude's the dude that we were talking about the one night, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I thought I remembered him where they said they brought him off the bench, but he still crushes or whatever.
Yeah, he's their like 6-man, spark plug guy. I could see him playing more minutes than we have projected here. Like, especially if they get down early, they're like, all right, we need him to play more in this game to have a chance.
It seems like a good play to me too, just because, like you said, if he's their best guy, 6th man. I remember the dude that transferred to Kentucky last year crushed in the BYU game. Mm-hmm. Just similar spot where I think he was the 6th man, but they needed him to create so much because they were struggling. Montana's going to have trouble scoring, so they're going to need his offense. I do kind of like that play. He's not going to be owned either. He'll be less than 10%.
Yeah,
I like that. And
he's been good to us. The guy you're thinking about is Antonio Reeves for Kentucky.
Oh, no, different dude.
No?
He went to BYU.
I don't know. Went to BYU?
The dude that's at Kentucky this year that's hurt.
Oh, Jackson Robinson.
Yeah. Last year he nuked in the freaking tournament, and he was like a bench guy. And I didn't even know who he was because he didn't start. All right. So Tanji, I remember him from the tournament. He does seem like an upside guy to me. The way he plays, if he really gets it cooking, I could see him doing something. Yeah.
Gavin's got Tanji as his favorite tournament play on the slate.
Gavin does?
Yeah.
That makes sense. I like that because he does look explosive, and Montana's not going to be able to guard a guy like that for sure.
Wisconsin's going to put up 90+ here. Being there, I'm going to try to drop my bets in as I talk through the games.
All right, let's move on to the next one. We got, the next one's this Houston game. Houston and SIU Edwardsville, 28.5. I can't imagine this is too great of a fantasy game, Steve, but what do we got?
No, I'll relay that one stat that I dropped in the bracket show. In Houston's 5 games against sub-100 KenPom teams this season, they only played 5 games total against non-100 or non-top 100 teams. They won by 57, 46, 36, 29, and 36. Same deal with Houston this year, except they're just a better shooting team than they have been. We talked about that, top 5 3-point shooting team in the country. The issue is Sampson loves to get his bench involved in blowout games. So Juwan Roberts, our starting 4, has been hurt. He is going to start here, but I'm not sure how much he plays. I think 30 minutes is a bit aggressive here. I think we could see more of the bench. Just kind of tough to get to anyone in this game. We're definitely not playing guys from SIUE. I mean, they're going to score 40 points in this game. I think if you went to anyone in this game, it would be Malik Wilson, who was starting when Roberts was down and played really well. Like, I was bummed to see that his price was 5.6. Like, if we got him in the mid fours, I think he'd be just an awesome play here. Because I think that these minutes here, like the 30 and the 24, could flip. And if that's the case, then he would project, 4.5, 4.6, and would really be popping. So I think if you went to anyone, this game would be Wilson.
Yeah, these are the hardest games for me because Houston plays so defense-based. And like you said, they're going to play a bunch of guys. The dude that's been hurt, there's no way he's playing 30. Unless he's somehow just healthy now, which he's not. There's just no way. I agree with you. I think it's going to flip too. The problem is they're just going to play so many guys. They don't need to do anything else. So who's this? Warren says Archino. I mean, what's he? Archino.
Yeah, so he's like a backup wing that's going to shoot threes, but he just rarely plays more than 20. Like, we have him down here at 20 minutes and 3x. It's just tough to play a guy who projects for 3x on a 16-game slate, honestly.
Let me look at this dude. Archino.
You
I mean, no, like, God, yeah, no.
You aren't going to like his box scores.
Yeah, I mean, they look real bad, though. 20 minutes, yeah. All right, let's move on to another blowout game. But I know from looking at the stuff, Auburn does have a lot of guys that are super underpriced, which is the only team really on the slate that looked underpriced to me, just eyeballing it. So massive spread, but a little bit different story than the Houston game. What do we got?
Yeah, so this is one of the bigger decision points on the slate is what to do with Auburn. They've got like a 92 team total here, Tony, and everyone besides Broom is priced at 6K or less. We basically got blowout minutes for Auburn, and with the blowout minutes, they're still projecting well. So, like, guys like Baker Mazzara, Miles Kelly, and Denver Jones, they've been playing low to mid 30s minutes in their blowout games. They'll get the bench more involved. Like, we'll see more Chaney Johnson. We'll see more of the guys down here, Howard, Hudson, Moore, guys like that. But yeah, I mean, even with being conservative with the minutes, these Auburn guys look good. I mean, like, they are going to score at will on this Alabama State game or team. Broom, I could see them taking it easy with. But we've also seen him, Tony, like in the non-conference, he had games where he played 23 minutes and put up 50 DK, so he's interesting, definitely tournament only. He's been banged up a bunch down the stretch, so I do not see them pushing him too much. I'm just really interested in the cheaper guys. The best value on the slate, I think, is Denver Jones. He's their defensive wizard, but he'll shoot threes and just kind of accumulate points by being in the game. So on a slate without much value, Denver Jones has been, mid 5Ks the whole year. We've talked about how a lot of guys are priced up on this slate, and we're going to price dip on him. We're going to price dip on Crowell. I think Baker Mazzara and Kelly are really good plays too, just because, like, we're being conservative with the minutes. They're still projecting well. If they keep Baker Mazzara and Kelly at 30, 32 minutes, these guys would be at 5X. So really like the Auburn guys. The question is how many are you comfortable playing in a lineup where they're 32-point favorites?
I think it's a decent spot. And the funny thing is, the guy, just from watching, I actually watched Auburn a bunch this year. I like Pettiford in matchups like this. I think he could get going a little bit in his price. It just shows you, though, how all these guys are underpriced and at least in play. And I don't know. I mean, at these price points, I think a lot of them could get there. And you already know me, though. I like spots like this, just shoving them in there and then getting different in other spots.
Yep.
I don't think you can really play Broom, but it's just more of what you said. He's been banged up. There's other studs. To me, it seems cut and dry to play 2, 3, even 4 of these cheap guys, and then just other studs. You can play studs in other spots. Makes tons of sense to me. Even like Chaney Johnson isn't great, but what if he gets an extended run in this game? I mean, he's just so cheap. There's no value on the slate.
Cardwell too. Like there's going to be a bunch of guys who are owned at 5K. I think Cardwell goes overlooked here. It just, they're going to be so efficient on a per possession basis that these guys are just going to do so well. My two favorites are Jones and Baker Mazzara, but like Kelly, Pettiford, we could see. So Pettiford had a really poor SEC tournament. I could see them like wanting to get him going too. He's the stud Frosh, who's their sixth man. So,
I love
agree.
his
I think
style
that
in a game like this. You said what I think. I think they tried to get him going because they need him against the big teams.
for
Him
sure.
struggling is why they lost a few of those games in there.
I mean, that's why they lost to Florida. He was like 0 of 10 or something like that. And this is a great spot to get him going here. I love all these Auburn guys.
At a tiny ownership too. Like if you play Cardwell and Pettiford, like they're low owned. Those two guys aren't going to get ownership. They can't because these other guys are getting it.
I'm personally not going to play Broom. I actually hope that he plays like 20 minutes. They drop his price.
He's going to Duke on us too because I'm not going to play.
He's going to go for like 28, 14, and 4 blocks. And
the problem is it's going to be so easy for him when he's in there is the issue.
Yeah. But I hope he has like a ho-hum game and then we get to play him at like 10K on Saturday.
Absolutely, because he's going to crash.
Yeah.
So the one guy I want to ask, though, is I actually think this dude from the other squad looks good, too. I want to hear what you think, though. Madlock, I even like the name, Old Madlock, but he looks like he's underpriced to me, just eyeballing it. I know Auburn's good, but if they're up 20, they're not going to be out here smothering this dude. And I think he plays a lot, and he looks good to me. What am I missing with him?
Yeah, so we started the show saying that the studs on the small schools are all overpriced. This is the only one that his price, hasn't really moved. So I think that he's a good play, especially in tournaments. Probably wouldn't play him in like a cash or main lineup because, he could just get swallowed up by.
He's going on my main team. Don't be bringing me bad juju. He looks good he looks good in there.
I could see, even if they're down 30, I could see them just having him play the whole game anyway.
Why wouldn't they?
Why not?
I mean, have him in there. These teams always do it until the very end. They leave him in.
So we have him for 32 minutes. He's got upside. Like he has games 36, 37, 38 minutes. I think we could be a bit light on his minutes upside. So I'm going to play him on one of my 3 main teams, and it works so well with the style like you were talking about. Like you play 2 to 4 Auburn, you have Madlock in there. Auburn goes up, they bring in the Chris Moores, the Hudsons, the Howards, and then this Madlock guy, can get there in the second half. So of these small school studs, he's definitely my favorite on the slate because all of the other ones are priced up.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it's just a good game, and you have to get some exposure. What the number is, it is a big slate. So not saying you got to go in and just play 5 dudes from this game, but there is a lot of good plays, and it's going to be tough not to have at least 2 or 3 Auburn pieces. They're going to score, and they're just too cheap. All right, let's move on. Clemson, McNeese, 7.5 across the board for Clemson, and the total is 134. So ugly game compared to what we've been looking at. What do we got here?
Yeah, these are 2 teams that are a bit slower. McNeese is led by transfer point guard from Syracuse, Kadir Copeland, and the 6th man with a 35% shot rate, Sincere Parker, who they just don't give enough minutes to. I just don't know how McNeese deals with the double big here from Clemson, Tony. Victor Locken is just a monster down low. He's underpriced here. You can see it. Like, we haven't talked about a 5X guy. I think you have to lean into a projection like this on a tight slate. He's been over 7K for the majority of the season against ACC teams, and now he's facing a smaller McNeese team that he should be able to have his way with. I really like Locken. Clemson is down a guard here. They're down Dylan Hunter, which is going to push more usage to Chase Hunter. I think if you're not playing Locken in tournaments, I think Chase Hunter is a really good pivot. I'm going to play Chase Hunter on my my first GPP team instead of Locken. I think that's one of the better pivots on the entire slate. So The Clemson guys look good here. Ian Shefflin is the other big. He's more of like a chunky guy. You're going to laugh when you see him, Tony, until you watch his game. He's a floor-bound big man, and he's not high-flying, but, he gets the job done. And if you have a big man against a smaller team playing 35 minutes, he's just going to rack up boards. He's basically a lock for a double-double here, and he has upside for more. So I think that's the order of how I like the Clemson side is lock in Hunter and Shefflin. And then on the McNeese side, we have some good projections. I'm a bit weary on Copeland. He's had some foul trouble. His minutes have kind of yo-yoed a bit. He does have upside for like 30 minutes. So I think he's a good tournament play. Because if he doesn't foul, we've seen the upside with him, and it shows here in the projection. Him and Garcia are their two main guys who project well.
Yeah, it looks like another underpriced guy. I didn't hear you talk about him, but this Garcia from McNeese looks somewhat underpriced to me at 5,700. What do we got him at? 4.5x on the point per dollar. And that Lakin, man, he's another one. So you do got a bunch of these mid-range guys, but they are going to be chalky too. I mean, Lakin's going to be chalky. I love that pivot you talked about.
Chase Hunter.
Chase Hunter looks good to me. What'd you say? He's got a brother or something?
Yeah, so Dylan Hunter is out for Clemson, which is just going to push more minutes and usage to the other two Clemson guards here. Chase Hunter for the majority of the season was mid to high sevens, and now we get a shortened rotation with him. So I think that he's a great pivot. On a slate where we don't have any value, I think you can mix in guys like Murray and Chauncey Wiggins. Wiggins will pick up a couple extra minutes here without Dylan Hunter. It shows how weak the overall value is on the slate when we're talking about a 3.8x guy being in play, but there just aren't that many options below 5K on.
That's where slate. I just have to play the Auburn guys. I'm like the donkey chalk guy, but I just can't play one of these guys over those Auburn guys. I just can't do it. Like, I just can't. But it could end up winning it for you. Game flows like this where it's in the 130s and we have other games. Like, I don't want too much from this game, but there are good underpriced guys, like you're saying. All right, let's move on. 16 games. Where are we at? VCU, BYU, 147.5 is the total. And the spread right now. Well, VCU is the team we liked a lot on the show. BYU, 2.5 across the board versus VCU. I know we liked VCU on the bracket show. Anything changed since then?
Nah, love VCU. Grab the +3. Have them winning this game in my bracket. We talked about it on the bracket show. Just a tough matchup for BYU stylistically. They've struggled all season with guard pressure. VCU, as we know, is going to bring that the entire game. VCU, the number one rim defense in the country, too. So, we talked about them being Houston light on the bracket show. BYU got absolutely thrashed by Houston both times. That style of play is, BYU's a finesse team. So just like the style for VCU here. For DFS, the VCU guys project well, especially Shulga. I think he's going to be one of the highest owned players on the slate. Senior guard. He's going to play the whole game. Really good rates across the board. I think he's a really good cash play. You see his upside here. So I think he's playable in all formats, really. At that 8K range, he fits more in this slate with like the balanced build. If you don't want to get up to like a Braden Smith, I think you can stop at Shulga and play a more balanced build. We got some good projections here. Dallin Hall, so before they put out the Auburn pricing, since we got that late because of the play-in game, Dallin Hall was like the guy that you were going to have to play down low because we didn't have the Denver Jones value. So I think he's at least reasonable. The issue with BYU, Tony, is that they run a deep rotation. So you see the minutes here. Richie Saunders is the only guy who's even going to sniff 30 minutes. Everyone else is going to play 15, 18, 22, 24. I haven't really played any BYU guys the entire season outside of the guy who's going to be a lottery pick, Igor Demon. So tough for me to get to BYU outside of Demon here. But the VCU guys are interesting, Shoga being my favorite for sure. Their freshman center, Luke Bang Boy, he's I think he's a cool tournament play. He's cheap enough where, like, if he gets a bunch of rebounds and a few blocks, like he can get you there on this slate, and there just aren't that many cheap plays that are viable.
Yeah, I like this matchup for VCU. You guys sold me on the bracket show, but this guy, this Hall dude at 4K, I mean, just looking at him, you said that even though he doesn't get a bunch of minutes, like, look at some of these games, 33, 23, 24, 29, 28. I mean, those are recently too, and you don't need a ton of minutes at 4K.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I'm surprised he's not higher owned, honestly. He looks, just on the surface, to me, he looks better than that other guy we were talking about that you said's a defensive-based guy. Yeah,
the VCU center. Yeah, no. Hall's a good play. I'm going to have some of him for sure. He was in the mid-5s just 2 weeks ago. So, we're getting.
He looks like he should be in the mid-5s to me, just like looking at how the pricing sets up.
Yeah, I think he's the second best play on the slate that's below like 4,500.
Yeah. And Shoga looks good. I like it. I like VCU a lot in this game, though.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. Georgia, Gonzaga. We got Gonzaga 6.5 across the board. And one of the craziest things how high for me was how high KenPom Gonzaga has. I'm interested to see this game because if you just told me without looking, because I've seen Georgia play a decent amount, I would have thought this spread was, I don't know, 3, something like that. And I would have thought, because I've seen Gonzaga, I thought they had a little bit of a down year, not watching it super close. But from you guys the other night, they lost a lot of close games they could have won. And their KenPom is just insane for an 8-9 game. So as far as the DFS side, though, what's the deal here?
Yeah. You inflate your analytics by beating the brakes off of bad teams and keeping it close with all of your losses. So that's exactly what they did this year. Also, we get a really cool Houston-Gonzaga matchup if they can win this game. For DFS, the biggest news spot of the day is, do we get the Gonzaga lineup? Because of what happened in the conference tournament championship where they beat St. Mary's finally in their third try, they inserted Braden Huff into the starting lineup. He played 32 minutes and was basically the best player on the court. He's 4,900 here. So if he starts, so we're super conservative on his minutes if he starts, because what I didn't want to have happen, Tony, is people not paying attention. They plug in Huff with starter minutes and, he plays 14 off the bench or something, and you're just kind of screwed. So
what do you think the reason he started out of nowhere was?
So they had lost to St. Mary's both times this season, and they'd gotten just obliterated on the boards in both games. So I think that they just kind of wanted to change it up, but he played really well and was like the reason that they won that game. So I think that they start him again, but there is a chance that they go right back to Ben Gregg here, which is why I kind of split the minutes, which is why they both project well, because whoever starts in that spot is going to look good. The issue is it's the second game in that location, and DK doesn't always move back the start times. I talked to Daniel this morning. He said that they're going to try and do that today. He's talking.
No way they're going to do that.
They did it on
my shot. There's no way.
They did it on Tuesday for the
really
game. Yeah.
I hope they do it because it's so annoying when your dude doesn't start for an hour and they lock that thing on you. It's literally brutal.
Especially in a spot like this where it's literally the biggest spot on the entire slate. And
I'm assuming if you guess wrong too, you're kind of, if you play 4,900 Huff and he doesn't start, you're in pretty big trouble, I think.
Yeah. So have plans for if we don't get starters, if we don't get news. The good thing is that price range has a bunch of guys. So
I don't like it as much. I don't have many takes on this show. I just can't in good conscience play these guys over the Auburn guys. I know I'm going to say it, but I just can't. This dude looks terrible. He had one good game.
So his rates have been good. He hasn't been playing that many
the whole
minutes.
year, though. Like one game can't swing everything.
Yeah. So if he plays, if he starts, he's a great play. If Greg
what
starts,
would you bump his minutes if he starts back to the low 30s again?
No, I'd give him like 26.
26 still.
But so there's that spot. Besides that, EK, same deal as always, foul trouble, but one of the highest fantasy point per minute guys in the country. So if he can keep his hands to himself, the upside's crazy. It's just tough to click him over like the 9K guys that we talked about. Georgia's a massive team. We talked about it on the show. Sixth or ninth tallest team in the country. So really interesting matchup here. Not going to get to Nemhard at 8-2. Asen Newell is Georgia's 5-star freshman forward. I think he's interesting in tournaments. So Newell and the cheaper Gonzaga guys here for me.
Seems like both teams play a decent number of guys too, just looking at the numbers and stuff.
Yeah. Gonzaga plays a deeper rotation than they have in the past.
And all right, let's move on. Tennessee, 18.5 versus Wofford. Can't be, I assume, that good of a game before we go into it. But Tennessee, I never liked Tennessee games. I got an anti-Tennessee bias the way they play. I feel like they get it in the mud a little bit, and I don't love that. But what do you think about this game?
Yeah, so this is going to be a slow game where Tennessee will slowly suffocate out Wofford's season here. So you were going to die laughing if you turn this game on because this Kyler Filowich dude on Wofford shoots the underhand free throws.
Oh, no, he does?
Yeah.
Like actually shoots them like that?
Yep.
What's his name?
Filowich, their center.
Their good guy shoots them underhand?
Their good dude shoots underhand free throws.
Oh.
So the big thing here, Tony, is Igor Milicic for Tennessee. Their stretch big man is down at 5K because he's coming off a bunch of foul games in a row. We were conservative on his minutes. If he doesn't foul here, he could see 28 plus and be like a great play at 5K. So I think he's a super interesting pivot to Huff there at the 5K range.
Is this that other dude's brother?
What? No, that's Avicic. So this is yeah. So that
dude's got a brother though. I'm not losing my mind,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Who does his brother play for?
They're on Arkansas, and I don't know why I'm blanking right now. But so the point I want to make is Milicic's knock is that he's kind of like a bum hunter. Like he played really well against the bad teams and struggled in the SEC, but now he's playing Wofford. Like if you click on him, Tony, and scroll to the non-conference games for Milicic, he was crushing in the non-conference. He was up to 8K, and then just struggled with the physicality of the conference play. So I really like him as a tournament play here. If he avoids fouls, he's going to pay off that tag, even in a poor game environment. I think Akpar is an interesting play too, but nothing from Wofford besides laughing at the underhand foul guy.
He's even somewhat expensive. I can't wait to watch him. I like the Milicic call though, 5K, because like you said, a lot of those guys in the mid range I think are more floor plays. So It's nice to get a ceiling guy in that mix in that mid range. What about this 3,300 Cade Phillips? Like I know that his projection isn't great. He's probably not great, but I mean, he's projected on a slate with no value. We've seen it in the past. Sometimes just playing a 3,300 guy just gets you there. He gets like 10 and you're good just because of what it gets you.
Yeah, so he's the backup big man. He's been playing more because Milicic has been fouling every game, and Akpar fouls too. So he needs fouls to get there, but he is cheap. And like if they run away and hide in this game, he's going to get extra run.
it just doesn't seem like that risky to me at that price point at 3,300. I mean, he's gonna play. He could get extra run, and like you said, the other dude foul trouble here and there, blowout run. I mean, if he somehow gets you like 22 or something at 3,300, I mean, you're in pretty good shape. I actually like him a little bit.
I like him for like the $20, like the
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm looking at. Just because, and if he does bad, he doesn't kill you. You could still win with an 8 or something from 3,300. But if he somehow nukes, which I kind of think he does nuke in this matchup a little bit, I like him more than I like both of them. I want one of those guys, Milicic or Cade. I think one of those guys really slams their price tag in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that both of the guys in front of him are foul guys. So like, he has, it's not like there's one guy who needs to foul for him to have big minutes. He's got 2 outs,
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a ton of sense. All right. Next we got Arkansas and Kansas. My screen's not loading, but I know Kansas is a 5-point favorite. I'm interested. This might be my favorite game to watch of the day. I want to see these two coaches, different histories. Coach Cal, always Kentucky problems. Bill Self struggled a little bit most of this year. But you got 2 programs that should have some experience in the tournament. You got a lot of things I like to see as far as actual basketball. I'm excited about this game. What as far as the fantasy side, though?
Yeah, same core we've seen the last couple of years for Kansas. Dickinson, DeJuan Harris, point guard, KJ Adams. This is their last run. They added transfer Zeke Mayo, who's their perimeter shooter and scorer. Really interesting tournament play there for him at 7K. Dickinson always in play, up at 10K. He plays more in these tournament games. Probably wants to play well here, given his struggles in the past in the tournament. He's got big upsides. You see 65 upside here. We've got him at 34 minutes. We've seen him play even more than that in tournament games. So I think he's interesting for tournaments. The big news on Arkansas is that they're going to return 5-star point guard Boogie Fland here. No idea how much he's going to play. I've got him at 20 minutes, but what he does is
yesterday they came back out and said he wasn't going to play, and then they took it back again.
Yeah, I mean, he's been practicing all week, and I think he's going to play at least some. The issue is, so they were struggling with him leading the way, and then when he got hurt, Nelly Davis has really been their engine down the stretch. What he does playing, it's not to play him, is it knocks off the 36, 37 minutes upside for like Nelly Davis for DJ Wagner. So you can see here we got Davis at 30 minutes. If we had him at 37, he would be a really good play. So if we see that Fland is not going to play, Davis becomes a really good tournament look. DJ Wagner would be in play. The issue is I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. These are 2 inefficient offenses. I took the under in this game. Besides Dickinson and Mayo, my favorite play here is Avicic, the guy that we were just talking about. So he hurt his thumb in the conference tournament, coming off an 8-minute game. But prior to that, this dude was 9K 2.5 weeks ago. So he's got crazy per minute upside. I think if you're taking swings in the lotto, we were talking about guys in that 5K range who are floor plays, his upside is way different than the guys that we've been talking about. Like if for some reason he plays 25, 26 minutes here, we've seen him have games where he has 40 plus DK in 25 minutes. So really, really good per minute guy. He says that the thumb is healthy. So we'll see. He's just going to be super volatile. So not for a main team, but definitely in the lotto, I would absolutely have some of him. So for me in this game, it's Dickinson and Mayo as the best plays, and then mixing in some Avicic there.
I like these Arkansas guys more than the field will. I'm just looking at it. I kind of tend to think the dude doesn't play or plays low minutes. Joe Ruffin there says 10 to 20 minutes. I just think they've given these guys more minutes lately, and they've looked good. They've played better basketball the last couple months. And I don't like they look underpriced to me. This Brazil, Adu, Davis, all these guys look underpriced to me, just looking at the numbers. So I don't know. I feel like and obviously Big Z. Big Z's got upside for sure at 5,400. As you were saying his price, I was like scrolling back through it. He had some monster games for 5,400. And you think about the matchup with the big dude for Kansas. Mm-hmm. Maybe they want to slide him out to the perimeter, shoot some threes.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Dickinson doesn't draw fouls either. Like he actively avoids challenging shots because he wants to, not get in foul trouble. So
does it? I mean, it seems like it correlates wonderfully with Dickinson. Dickinson gets some easy buckets inside. Big Z take him outside, hit some shots, and kind of go back and forth at each other. I think that's like a really good switch there. All right, let's move to the next one. Yale, Texas A&M. Texas A&M 7.5, 138.5 is the total. And we talked about this a lot on the bracket show too. We kind of like Yale, what they do, and I'm excited to hear about this stud because I hear whatever this dude's name is, Mbang or whatever his name, he's going to bang in some threes or something is what I heard. He's pretty good. What do we got?
Yeah, for like the third straight tournament, A&M is playing a team that shoots threes well, which is basically what they force a super high 3-point rate. Yale's a great shooting team. And Yale, like we talked about on the bracket show, 98 percentile jump shot rate forced against an A&M team that can't shoot at all. So really tough stylistic matchup for A&M. The issue is like Yale hasn't seen ball pressure like this. They haven't seen a defense like this. They're definitely going to be out athleted. This isn't the Ivy League. This is A&M. So Bang is one of the most interesting decision points on the slate. He's been really, really good lately, but he's also been playing a bunch of dentists, and this is Texas A&M. Like he's going to have Wade Taylor in his jersey the entire game. So last year on Thursday, Tony, the same guy, Bez Bang, was the highest owned guy on the slate. He got stuffed into a locker by Auburn. He scored like 5 points, had 1 rebound, 5 turnovers, and just killed everyone. So I have some concerns. His Tigre opponent stats take a huge dip when he plays good teams. We've been trying to kind of dock him a bit. It's just tough because his rates are so good across the board. Like he stuffs the stat sheet. He's going to play 38, 40 minutes if he doesn't foul out. So he's a good play. I do have some concerns, and he's going to be one of, if not the highest owned guy on the entire slate. So that's not a decision that I've made yet for my main. Like obviously he projects well. He projects for 36 at 7,500. So it's a big decision point. What you do with him. Those are my concerns though, is that, he beats up the Ivy League guys all year. He struggled in both of the big games in non-conference this year. He struggled against Auburn in the tournament last year. Am I saying that he can't do it? No. It just puts that in the back of your mind, right? When you're paying 7,500 for the highest owned guy on the slate. So those are my concerns with him. Townsend projects well too as their big man. And then the A&M guys have been hard to play the entire season. They run a deep forward rotation that is very hot handish with Garcia, Coleman, Payne. The minutes have been flip-flopping the entire season. So on a 16-game slate, I'm not going to get involved with the A&M forward rotation. Garcia is the best play if you do want to. I could see Phelps playing less this game. The best player on A&M, again, is Wade Taylor. He's just had a super inconsistent shooting season, which is why
I think he's a guy I think sucks. Whenever I watch him, he kills me. He's got his little knee brace too, or whatever, his sleeve on his leg. He looks terrible.
Yeah, I mean he's probably why they're a 4 seed and not a 3 is because he had a really poor season. So I mean,
is he hurt or something? Like when I watch him, he looks hurt.
He got hurt during the year and then slowly came back, and I don't know. He just hasn't looked 100% right since then. So it's kind of a weird game for me DFS wise because I don't want to play the A&M guys, and I don't know what to do with Bang and Townsend because we've been burned by these Ivy League studs before,
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing I take away from it is these guys in my head should be cheaper. I know they're studs, but you broke it down perfectly where they're not playing the dentist today. They're playing the dudes that go to the dentist to get things done. I mean, they are gonna 7,500 is crazy. Like I can't do it, especially knowing how chalky he is. Townsend, I'm just throwing this game out. I can find much better plays. Can he get there in 40 minutes? Sure. They're going to throw everything at him, though. They're not going to let this dude get whatever he wants. Yeah, so I think he's going to suck again.
This is Buzz Williams with a full week to prep for him, too.
Yeah.
I will say Pulakadis, the guy at 6'9", is their best three-point shooter. He took 200 threes this year, shot 40%. So he has the best matchup against A&M. I think he's the best tournament play on Yale. Just because
who was it?
The 6,900 guy, Pulakadis, because he's going to take a dozen threes in this game. I think he's really interesting for tournaments, and it gets you away from Bang and Townsend, who are going to be really popular.
All righty, let's move on to Mizzou and Drake. Mizzou 6.5. Another pretty low total, 133.5. I remember you guys on the show saying Drake walks it up.
Yep.
Plays super slow. So I'm assuming you don't have a ton of interest in this game, but what do we got?
I have less interest than the projections do. So Drake, this is the team that you're absolutely going to hate, Tony. They have the longest average offensive possession length in the last 20 years on Ken Pom.
What is it?
Slow.
Close to 30 somehow.
Let's see.
25 seconds.
22.
Jeez. That's average, too. That's crazy.
Yeah, average. So they're going to walk it up. It's a really good coach team, really well coached team. Bunch of D2 guys though playing against the SEC. Mizzou's got athletes on days. Drake is the only team I saw that is the higher seed that is being picked more than the lower seed in brackets just to win outright. I kind of think Mizzou controls this game though. It's just too much of a talent discrepancy. You got a bunch of D2 guys against Mizzou who's been playing really, really well. So I don't really like much in DFS. Like Sturts plays the entire game, and he's another one of these guys who last year, Tony, would be 6,800, but he's 9,300. Like, are you playing him over Braden Smith? Are you playing him over
Not playing anyone over Braden Smith. I'm not playing Luka Doncic over Braden Smith today after Gav's line.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just tough for me to get to anyone in this game. Anthony Robinson projects well. He's another guy around 5K who does have upside, but Mizzou, as you see the minutes here again, Tony, like they just play a deep rotation. The minutes are volatile, tough to trust. I think he's in the pool if you're playing a bunch of lineups in the lotto, just because he's a guy that gets you different at that 5K range. But I don't love a lot from this game overall.
Yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't look great. We got VIP's always on these sharp bets after you talked about it. We got Polakidis, or however you say this dude's name, plus money at over 3.5. If he shoots 12 times, I'm not great at math, but if we get 12 threes and he's only got to make 4 of them,
that's about 40%.
I like that. I think we can get that. I like that number. So I like it at plus. What do you think? Can we get on with VIP?
Yeah, I'm going to put that in after the show.
I like that. Let's move on. We got, I think, 4 more games. We're finally to the night session. UCLA, my boy Cronin, 5.5, 144.5. And this total was a little higher than I thought. I'm assuming Utah State scoots it up a little bit with this total the way it is. What do we got?
Yeah, I hate this Utah State team. They started the year hot. They were kind of a darling of the analytics community early. They really fizzled out down the stretch, got pounded in the Mountain West tournament. We talked about that on the show. UCLA is just a really, really tough team to play against for them because and look at these price tags. Falslev's 8.8 and Martinez 7.6. Like, this is another team where these guys last year would be in the 6Ks and we'd have to really consider them. But I don't like anyone in this game overall. Eric Daly, kind of a weird matchup for him. Utah State's going to play zone the entire game. UCLA didn't see any zone this year. They don't have great jump shooters. Eric Daly projects pretty well, but his minutes are pretty volatile, and he's not really a shooter. So this is a full cross-off game for me. I'm lower on everyone in this game than our projections are, pretty much.
Yeah, we'll save time then because I don't like it. Nothing sticks out. The projections are low. I do like UCLA in this game, though.
I do too.
I think 5.5. You hate Utah State. I like UCLA the way they play. It definitely feels like a good bet spot for me. All right, let's move on. St. John's and Omaha. AP's Omaha squad. 18.5, 148.5. I thought it was hilarious, too, because I sent those charts. Maybe I only thought it was funny on Twitter, but you got St. John's, who has one of the ugliest shot charts ever. And who's the one in there's Florida. Florida has like one of the best possible shot charts. All threes, layups, looked awesome. St. John's shoots like no threes, all long twos, which I hate. It made me despise even looking at it, but they just rolled everybody up. Patino's always a wagon in the tournament. It really messes with me because that shot chart is horrendous. I feel like it's going to catch up to them. It's not going to catch up today versus Omaha.
No.
But at some point, I think it catches up to them. As far as the actual game, though, what do we got going on?
Yeah, so St. John's best defense in the country is how they are able to stay in games and just hit enough shots to win. Also, they play in the Big East, which is a bunch of drop coverage, which just kind of pulls them into the mid-range shots a lot. They're going to crush teams that don't play drop coverage just because of the way they just assault the rim and just kill people in transition. We're not playing anyone from Omaha in this game. I guess you could play J.J. White as a run back if you played two St. John's here. He's their stud, and it's not like he's 8 or 9K like the other small school studs on this slate. So the news here, Aaron Scott projects really well. His price is down because he had a poor Big East tournament. He's playing through like a torn tendon in his thumb, but like they're going to score at will against this Omaha team. I can see multiple guys getting here. Issue's going to be blowout, and like how healthy is Aaron Scott, and if they're up 20 in the second half, do they keep the guy in who has a thumb injury to possibly aggravate that when they're playing on Saturday? So I have my concerns with Aaron Scott, but it could just be fine, right? So I'm definitely playing some of him because he does have big upside for that price tag. The studs are all in play as always for St. John's. Kadari Richmond, triple-double threat in this game. RJ Luis, awesome play. Our guy, Zuby Ejiofor, just carried them through the Big East tournament. He was so good last weekend, especially on Friday. So I'm fine with all three of the St. John's studs. And then Aaron Scott is a decision point, again, around that 5K range. He's one of the guys, Tony, that I think you can look at. Like, say you're holding Braden Huff there, hoping that he starts. We don't get a lineup or he ends up not starting. You can switch to a Milicic. You can switch to an Aaron Scott, guys like this in that same range.
I like that a lot, and you need to think about stuff like that on these big slates because you get lost in the games a lot of times where you're watching.
They come quick,
you don't think it does, but then all of a sudden, especially if DK doesn't move those lineup blocks for us, where if you got to make a decision a little early, I think personally you just play it safer and fade that spot that's unknown. But if we know, like you said, if he's in there, it makes it easier to throw him in there. Like me personally, I'd put this late dude in just in case you somehow missed the news or something. And then if you see it and pay attention and you can pivot onto the starter in that other game rather than off, just because if you somehow get lost or they lock the game on you, or it just happens. It's happened to us so many times over the years where you're waiting to like make a move and you get sidetracked. There's a close game or something. You're rooting on the end of it. And then all of a sudden you're like, damn, I just missed lineup block for that game. But I like Omaha in this game too, not to win, but plus what I say, 18.5. I think Omaha plays hard. They're excited to be here. I hate St. John's shot chart. So I want to be.
If you think they keep it within the 18, you have to play some of these St. John studs, because if they keep it close, these guys are going to, yeah. So keep Richmond, Luis, and Ejiofor in your pool if you think Omaha keeps this within the number. I would play max 1, but like any one of those 3 could go for 45 plus in this game.
I like that. I had them out. I'm putting them back in because I like that. Because I think Omaha, everyone's like on St. John's, but it was in conference where they're comfortable. I wouldn't be stunned if this team hangs around a little bit in this game.
Also, Gavin made a good point on the show. Like, if they win this game, they're facing either, probably Bill Self in round 2, and that's a kind of a weird matchup for St. John's.
I might need to pick them to lose.
I have them losing to Texas Tech in my bracket here.
Man, I might have to have Kansas whoop them or Arkansas. There we go.
Texas Tech right there.
Like that. All right, let's move on. We got 2 games. Oh, yes, my game. I can't wait to see your Michigan squad go down tonight. We got Michigan and UC San Diego, 2.5-point favorite for the Big Ten champions, playing some zoo in San Diego. UC San Diego squad. Only a 2.5-point spread. I cannot wait to own Steve in this game. I'm going to be smiling tomorrow on the show because my squad's going to take his big whiteys down in their cement feet. I can't freaking wait till tomorrow morning to be smiling at you.
You know what's funny is I have hated this Michigan team for 2 weeks. We've been betting against them, and now I'm forced to bet on them because they're playing UCSD, and everyone loves UCSD. But for DFS, I just think it's a really it's going to be tough for UCSD to contain the double big. I know you don't like them, but Wolf and Golden are both great passers. You're getting guys who are playing over 30 minutes with really good rates. I would much rather play Golden than Bez Bang at that same price. I think Golden's one of the best plays on the slate. Danny Wolf, both those guys are just coming off a meat grinder game in that Big Ten championship, but you saw what they can do in the Maryland game. They both smashed. So I really like both the Michigan bigs. Probably wouldn't play both in the same lineup, but 2 of the better plays on the entire slate. We've seen Golden just take off once they started giving him over 30 minutes a game. I don't want to get involved in the Michigan guard merry-go-round. Roddy Gale's kind of banged up in this game. If he ends up missing, we could see a Reuben Jones start, Tony. So I think Reuben Jones at 3,800, his rates aren't great, but on a slate where we don't have much value, I think he's at least playable. Like, we have him for 25 minutes already at 3.8. He hits a couple threes. I think that he could get there on a slate where we just don't have that much value. Tate Jones is the stud for UCSD. God, it tilts me that DK uses Cal-S for this. I've never even seen what is that? A different year, he would be 7K here, and we'd be slamming him into our lineups because he's an absolute wagon. Plus, his name is Taint Jones. Like, come on. I kind of want to play a little bit of him, anyways. Like, the projection's awesome. I think he's got upside for more than the 33 minutes. So I think he's interesting. Like, add him to the pool of, there's just so many good studs on the slate. But outside of him, it's kind of tough for me to get to the Cal-S guys, just because he does soak up so much of their usage.
If I don't play Gavin's boy, the little 4'8" white dude, and I don't play Taint Jones today, then I don't know what I'm doing. Those are the guys that I gotta get in on those guys. But
you imagine, this game tips at like 10 o'clock. You're like, oh, we still have the 9K St. Jones in the lineup.
After a
St.
full
Jones to
day
bring us-
getting after it, too. We're going to be rooting on St. Jones to finish. It was
Every time-
always St. Jones.
Every time he dunks on Danny Wolf, you're just windmilling.
I'm going to be sending pictures on Twitter of who knows what. But so I make fun of the big whites, but yeah, they're good plays. They're two of the better plays of the slate. Their projections are good. I think one of them for sure crushes. I'm only
Also,
half joking.
they can crush, and Michigan can still lose this game too.
Yeah, that's what I think happens. Honestly, I think they lose, and I think they have one of them. I think for sure gets in the 40s. The other one probably bust and probably gets in foul trouble. Like they're big cement feet. They're not going to move them. I actually like Trey Donaldson though, and that's more of a feel play to me. Just watching that tournament, I feel like he's their go-to guy when they need something to go in a tight game. I think the price too at 6,600 is too cheap. So I actually like Trey Donaldson. I get your point about the guards and stuff, the merry-go-round and stuff, but I think Trey Donaldson's their guy just from what I've seen in limited viewing.
He's also helped too. Like if Gale is out or limited, we could see him play like 36 minutes here.
He might even be a core play for me. I feel really good about him. And he's not going to be owned at all because his projection's not incredible. He's just going to get no ownership late at night. So I like him a lot. All right, let's move on to the last game. Texas Tech, 14.5, 143.5 versus UNC Wilmington. Doesn't look like anything too crazy sticking out here from the Wilmington side, but what do you got overall?
Yeah, probably no Wilmington for me. They're big, stiff. Omaha is going to project well, but really tough spot against Texas Tech here, who's one of our favorite teams. This is the team that stats didn't like because, the AP voters didn't know who was on the team until about December. But they have maybe the best transfer get in the portal in JT Toppin coming over. He's an All-American. He has just been so goddamn good. He has games. Gab, Tony, go scroll through Toppin's box scores here. He's my second favorite spend on the entire slate. If you are going into this hammer night game with JT Toppin, I would be feeling pretty good just because of his upside. Texas Tech has some banged
I'm scarred from him because when I went to the Cincinnati game, he was terrible that night. It's like seeing him up front and close, I'm scarred from it. I need to not let one game impact. I need to go look at the box scores, like you said, just to get me to stop thinking about that.
Go scroll through his last 2 months.
There we go. I see right away a couple 50s, a 47.
He had like a
59,
70 one time. Yeah. So he's just a mega usage big. Wilmington plays too big. So and Texas Tech is banged up coming in. We talked about on the show. Darian Williams has been in and out. Him and McMillan, I think, are both going to play here. If for some reason they don't, and it sucks that it's the last game. Like if this game were early and we got some news like that, you just jam Toppin. But I think Toppin's a really, really good tournament play. He doesn't need the max minutes to crush, but if for some reason they push more minutes to his way in the tournament, something like that, we could really get like a 50, 60 plus here from Toppin in the hammer game on the slate. So really love Toppin here. I think Chance is too banged up to crush here, but I do like Christian Anderson in tournaments at 5'7". I think he's a guy that I'm going to mix in to my lineups here as well. And then probably nothing from Wilmington. I just respect Texas Tech too much in this spot.
I am interested in Williams just because of the Q tag.
Yeah,
literally no one's going to play him, and he's supposed to play, right?
Yep. Williams has been 7,500 8K the entire year.
I have some interest in that because if you can get a guy that has legit upside in the 6Ks that is going to be unowned because of the Q tag, and it's the late hammer of the night, which we always like, it makes a lot of sense to me. And there's not that much risk to it because he's got to be somewhat safe too, as long as he's in.
Yeah. And so when he was hurt earlier, his first game back, he stepped right into 33 minutes, and we have 30 here. So I was pretty conservative with his minutes. And, you see their team total here almost 80. So healthy team total. We know where the ball is going. And I mean, we're really high on Texas Tech in this tournament. I have them going down to Florida in the Elite Eight. So,
all right. To finish up, let's give play of the day DFS. Low owned. We got to give someone under 20% or something. Some lower owned guy, your favorite guy, and 3 favorite bets. We got to give 3 bets each for the people.
All right. Let's pull up the bets first. My favorite low-owned guy of the slate is the guy we just talked about, JT Toppin up top. Really love him in tournaments today. Bets. Let's go VCU. Love VCU in the spot. The under in the Arkansas game and Purdue -7.5.
No, you had to get that Purdue squad in there, didn't you?
Why not?
You had to fire them puppies in there. I'm going. So you said VCU. I'll put these down. I got to bet these. Arkansas under and what other one? Oh, and Purdue.
Purdue. I was going to say Michigan for you, but no.
I'm going against you in that one. So I'm going Omaha. I'm going UCLA, and I'm going. Who else?
VCU.
VCU. Well, you gave it. I didn't want to give the same one. I already bet them. I don't want to give the same one though. Should I? I don't want to give the same one. Which game was I going to own you on? Oh,
UCSD.
Yeah.
UCSD.
I'm going against Michigan in my last one. Absolutely. I forgot who it was when I wrote it down. And my favorite play is Gav's boy, Braden Smith. He's 11% owned. It looks like. Under 20, and I can't wait to play that. Gav, we're riding. I'm coming for you Saturday morning if you let me down. But I'm going with them. What else did I want?
Braden goes 3 of 19 from the field today.
Oh God, I know it's coming too. He's so small. He's gonna tilt me, but I believe. So if you like the show, Steve's gonna have a lot more bets in the chat. JBC's gonna have bets. We got a bunch of cores going up on the site. Again, Steve, 15% off. It's only $70 for the whole month. Everything as far as college hoops content, bets, cores, playbooks, all the stuff that goes into it. We're going to do – who knows? I think we'll do these shows free, but we may pop in and just do a premium tomorrow or Saturday or one of these. Maybe Saturday, just to make sure we get people in there and just sign up. All these free shows, everything you get, $59.50. No reason not to. Steve 15 at checkout. We're finally here, Steve. Any last words before we get out and finish everything up?
Yeah, just a unique slate. Good luck to everyone who's in the Mania. And for those who are members, my core is up. Gavin's core is going up. Tony's core is going up. We'll be in Discord posting lineups and news all day, reacting to things like the Gonzaga lineup. And there's just a couple of things that could surprise us today news-wise. So we'll be in there reacting to everything. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning for 16 more games.
We'll start out with some winners. Get in the Discord with us. Let's have a big day. See everyone tomorrow.